Do you want almost 300 pages of monsters from the creators of the Monster Manual Expanded series? Do you want powerful runes for your table, as well as rune-themed subclasses and other rune-related goodies? Do you want to help end a curse caused by the evil Vecna? Well, if you answered yes to any of those questions, we've got books that offer all of that and much more in the latest episode of D&D New Releases. So let's get started. Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, where we offer first impressions of new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons. We cover a selection of titles from Dungeon Masters Guild and DriveThruRPG each week. The titles are presented in alphabetical order, and all of them are linked in the video description. Purchasing the books using those links helps the channel, but you can also support us by purchasing one of our best-selling books. Our newest release, Dragonlance Compendium, offers 180 pages for players and DMs to bring the magical world of Krynn to life. And like many of our books, it's available in hardcover and digital format. Our Swarms of the Multiverse offers over 70 brand new creatures, including their associated swarms, instructions on how to make your own balanced swarms, and lots of bonus materials such as 4 new demi-planes. Our Feywild Companion offers 150 pages of Feywild fun for players and DMs alike. Also, our book, Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets, contains over 50 pages of dragon-themed player options, including a subclass for each class and much more. We've got lineages suitable for any setting, as well as optional lineage rules in our Van Richten's Librum of Lineages. With our Potions Unlocked book, we have over 100 pages of material to take potions to the next level in your game. Please support the channel by purchasing our books using the links in the video description. First, we have Arcanum Emporium, fully illustrated magic items from Arcane Affinity. It's $6.99 suggested price for 20 pages. And it says, enhance your Dungeons & Dragons campaigns with this comprehensive PDF containing 42 meticulously crafted and fully illustrated magic items organized into 5 distinct themes. This collection offers convenience and versatility for both players and dungeon masters. So you've got the Undead Armory, immerse yourself in the realm of necromancy. You got Moon and Sea, where you can embark on maritime adventures. Smoldering Forge, where you stoke the fires of creativity and exploration. And then you got Fit for a King, step into the opulent world of royal courts and political intrigue, as well as Realm of the Witch, where you can unleash the power of witchcraft and voodoo with the captivating items from the Realm of the Witch set. So let's look inside. Unfortunately, the full-size preview is not working at the moment, so we will zoom in on the quick preview so you can see some of the cool artwork in here. It's nice that they're illustrated. You've got this one called Mummy Wrap Gauntlets. It's uncommon, requires attunement. It says a pair of old warrior gauntlets that were wrapped and buried in a sarcophagus alongside the one who wore them. Their fighting spirit remains. Let's see. Let me. Waiting to enter. Yes, waiting to enter the fray again. Your unarmed strikes use a D4 for damage. And it says, Mummy's Rot, when hitting a target with these gauntlets, you may infuse the attack with a cursed rot. The target must make a con saving throw or be cursed. The cursed target cannot regain hit points for 1 minute. The cursed target can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the curse on a successful save. The effect can only be used a number of times equal to the wearer's proficiency bonus per long rest. So that's just one of them. I think the artwork on that one is just really, really cool. But it looks like they have so many different ones in here. You've got the Drachel's Bone Carver, Crown of Stolen Eyes, Necklace of the Secret Prince, Jade Vase of Poise, Emboldened Beard, Ivory Glove of Providence. That one looks cool too. It says when you touch a creature while wearing this glove for the next minute, you have advantage on persuasion checks involving that creature. If you already have advantage on your check, you get an additional +4 bonus. Additionally, you have advantage on deception checks used to convince a creature that you are of a higher social standing. And the illustration is really cool, and I could see where a glove that looks like that would do those things. So very cool. I think you should check it out. This is going to be a lot of really cool items, And the beauty is you can pay what you want. You can pay $0, download it, look at it, see if you're going to use it, and then come back and pay something. I encourage you to pay something to support the creator here, Arcane Affinity, but really, really nice stuff. I love that they're all illustrated, so check that out. Next, we have Beowulf, Age of Heroes, Annual 2023 from Handiwork Games. It's $7.99 for 64 pages. And we've talked about Beowulf on this channel before. It's a really fun way to play 5th edition as in a duet format where you have a game master and a player. And this is a bunch of the digital packs, because they've released a lot of those over the year combined into a singular book. And I should mention that you can also play Beowulf in a traditional format where you have one game master and multiple players as well. So it's not limited to duet, but I do like that aspect of it, that it's available to play that way as well. So in this particular volume, you're going to get arm rings, helmets, and a bunch of other stuff, including new monsters, new followers. There's this concept of followers, which is really cool. It's especially good when you're playing the duet version. So all these beautifully illustrated sections that were part of the digital packs are now part of this singular volume, which is a really cool way to get them all together. You can see some of the different ones here. There's even some maps in here, but it's always beautifully illustrated from Handiwork Games. I mean, they just go above and beyond with the look and even the layout. I mean, you look at the borders on these pages. It has a very Norse feeling, which is appropriate because that's the sort of inspiration for the setting of Beowulf and, of course, the classic poem. But yeah, lots of fun stuff. There's this whole section here on helms that you can see in the preview, and each one has a really nice illustration. So we'll pick one to read in just a moment, but I'm scrolling through so you can see all of them. But let's look at the first one, the Hard Bristles Slaughter Boar helm. And it's +2 to armor class. It weighs 5 pounds, and it's got a magnificent and robust properties. And there's a few new properties they've added, and so you can read about those at the end of this section. But it says, from one end of the Whale Road to the other, the boar is recognized as the animal most suited to reside on the crest of the helmet. Indefatigable in battle, irrationally brave, unstoppably fierce, and extremely hard to kill, the boar is truly the warrior's animal, with the recognizable stylings of a smith of Gotland. This helmet has an effigy of a gilded iron boar mounted atop it. The boar boasts a stiff crest of boar hair bristling from its back and dark strips of lacquered wood reinforcing a metal bowl. This helm is both impressive and sturdy. On close inspection, it can be seen that it has weathered many war storms and survived with only minor cosmetic repair. A helmet to inspire confidence in the wearer and fear in their opponents. And it just looks really cool. I like how it's got this sort of bristle thing at the top, but if you look closely, it resembles a boar, like a miniature boar on the helmet. So I think that's really cool. But it's got the magnificent and robust properties. So magnificent is new, and it says this helm is truly impressive to behold, and anyone wearing it is striking in both appearance and bearing. The wearer can invoke this property to gain advantage on a charisma check. They can make use of this property a number of times equal to their proficiency bonus, and then must complete a long rest before invoking it again. So that's cool. And it fits with this one because the boar is a really fascinating creature to the populace in this setting, which is really cool. But yeah, I mean, just look at how beautiful this is, and there's so many cool helms in here that I think you should come check out and really consider. I mean, for $7.99 to get 64 pages of stuff you can use, either duet or playing with the traditional format, is really, really cool. So it is in the video description links under Beowulf Annual 2023. Give it a click. Next, we have Curse of Vecna from David Hartledge, and it is $4.99 for 17 pages. And it says, an 8-year-old child hands the party a note, which reads, I poisoned my parents, and I am a very wicked boy, and I should hang. I love that. It's such a fun little twist opening. Normally you get a note from a child in one of these games. It's just like, please help me, sir, or something like that, right? This is like, I'm bad and you got to help me. And it says he offers a reward for help waking his sleeping parents. This quest takes characters to a dungeon under a ruined estate to break a curse Vecna put on the feuding family that served him. So you get role-playing scenes, a dungeon to explore, and secrets to unravel. It's made for 8th to 10th level. It's got a lot of cool, really good playtester comments. But looking inside, it just looks really cool to be dealing with Vecna, right? Because Vecna is such a famous character from Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, even Stranger Things deals with Vecna. So I'm going to try to avoid some of the spoiler sections and read some of the other sections that don't give away too much. But there's an adventure background section that says the 𝘏𝙫 family rose to power thanks to their place in the cult of Vecna and the dangerous secrets Vecna revealed for fealty. Generations ago, 7 heirs to the family throne fought for power until Lady Avela 𝘏𝙫 triumphed. Vecna thought three of the defeated siblings still showed potential as useful servants, but he wanted them punished, so he cursed them, making them an undead skull lord. The magic of such powerful curses often requires a way to break the curse, and then it gives the secret of how to release that. So I'm not going to reveal that, but it says now with Lady 𝘏𝙫 long dead, the last of the 𝘏𝙫s live on the ruins of their estate, while the Skull Lord inhabits the catacombs below. The creature plots a way to trick a child into betraying his family and lifting the curse. So it looks like this kid that hands you the note is sort of not aware maybe that he's been tricked. But ultimately, if it removes the curse, I guess it could be worth it. It says the adventure begins when a sheriff arranges a meeting at a town hall about a job seeking some stolen property. As the party leaves this meeting, the 8-year-old Mika hands them a note and starts the adventure. But there's a lot of other ways to lead them here. You can have a bartender mention a job for adventurers. There can be a notice board. The pocket of a recently dead adventurer holds a letter arranging for an upcoming meeting, which could lead to the same thing. A deputy finds the party and arranges a meeting with the sheriff, etc. So they're giving you some good options here. But yeah, this looks really fun. You got a map in here. Really easy to read too. There's a decent amount of white space between the words, so it's not like, you know, some third-party publications, I mean, they cram it in there where you can't even read anything without eye strain. So this is, I like that it's got some air between the paragraphs. There's a little bit of white space there, which I think is helpful as well. So yeah, if you want to go up against a curse from Vecna and get this note from this, he describes himself as a very wicked boy. You could get this. It's pretty reasonable. $4.99 for the adventure, and it is under Curse of Vecna in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Dragonix, or Dragonix. I'm not sure how to say it. Probably Dragonix's Deadly Denizens. And it's a 5th edition compatible bestiary. And you might recognize the name Dragonix. It's associated with all those Monster Manual Expanded books that you see in the top of the DM's Guild all the time. So, you know, if you've looked at those and all the cool designs and imagery, this is more of the same, but what's cool is this one's on drive-through, so it's some IP that is now owned by Dragonix instead of Wizards, so good for them. And it's already a best copper seller in the first week, so that's always a good sign that you're onto something when you find a book that has that. But it's filled with a captivating collection of characters, creatures, and cryptids that will ignite your imagination and breathe new life into your fantasy campaigns. You get new monsters and combat mechanics to throw at your most seasoned players. So it's 289 pages for $29.99, and it has over 300 stat blocks. That's a lot of stat blocks. Tons of great artwork, of course. Almost every creature is represented by a low, mid, and high-level stat block. There's new demons, devils, dragons, drakes, giants, golems, and more. And then there's also some templates, which I love templates. And I think it's really cool to have them in 5th edition, so you can apply them to existing creatures just to tweak them and make them seem different. There's also some bundles. If you scroll down, you can see that you can get a bundle that has the PDF plus the VTT, and then there's another one that has STLs. So if you use 3D printer to print some monsters, there's a way to get some from this book as well. And as usual, from Dragonix, it looks really good. I mean, the layout is really nice, and the artwork's really good. So they have a ton of monsters, as you can see. It starts here with abyssal creatures and goes all the way down to it looks like 𝙎𝙬𝙬𝙪. It's really small print here, so I can't. I'd have to zoom in to read it, but goes to Z, which is great. I'm not sure what the CR spread of all these is. I'm guessing it's a pretty decent spread, but if you're watching Dragonix, that might be something to add to your catalog page, because I think that's a good selling point. You got miscellaneous creatures, all these things: alligators, death dogs, mantis shrimp, and things like that. So it's more of like beasts and things there. And then what's really also nice to have is this non-player character section, because you've got all these characters like a geomancer, various knights, including a hell knight or a pale knight. You've got a seer, a tinker, a toxomancer. So a number of NPCs as well. And then here we're getting a good look at the templates that were described on the catalogs page. So we're starting in this section on the abyssal creatures, but then right off the bat you got this abyssal template, which basically means wherever you see these headings on a creature, you would replace whatever's on that existing creature with the text that's here, and then you keep any section that doesn't appear here. So it's a blend of the template and this original stat block that you have from wherever, whether it's Monster Manual or Homebrew or third-party publication. And then so it's a melding. And so since some of these are taking the place of other things like senses or languages, then you can see something totally different, but familiar at the same time, because it's going to have a few things. Like in this case, it may have a different immunity or the same immunity, etc. So it could be really cool to overlay that, especially with Planescape coming. If you're going to go to the Abyss or deal with some extra planner goodness, you're going to need templates like this to apply to creatures, because you may not, there may not be enough in the Planescape release to cover everything you need, right? So having this ability to overlay these templates and make something feel like it came from the Abyss, even though it's just basically a template plus something, plus a creature that you've dealt with before, maybe a golem, so it becomes an abyssal golem of some kind. That could be really cool. But there's some samples in here. So you get the Abyssal Chimera, and it's a CR8. And then you got the Chimera Baphomet, which is a CR15. And then you get the Abyssal Lamia, which includes layer information and CR6 and CR9 stat blocks, as well as the CR15. So that's, see, again, I told you, I think there'd be a good spread. So 6, 9, and 15, that's a good spread. And then you got your Abyssal Medusa. And these are kind of layering on creatures we've known before, the Abyssal Ogre, etc. But I want you to pay attention here, because there's also a lot of original creatures in here. So you have the 𝙁𝙗𝙗, I guess is how you say that here, which is a really cool thing. It says this curious creature known as the 𝙁𝙗𝙗 is a predator that lurks in rivers and lakes, patiently waiting for prey to approach the water. It is a ravenous carnivore that will eat any creature of its size or smaller, although it prefers livestock, fish, and reptiles. And if you scroll down, it's this sort of dangerous looking beaver, which is really cool. And it's pretty big, because you can see it's got like a lizard folk or something underneath its paw, I guess you'd say. And it's a CR3, and it is a large monstrosity, so that's cool. And then you got CR5 version and a CR11, because you can have a dire one or you can have an alpha. So maybe they roam in packs or something, and there's some lair actions you can use. So pretty comprehensive. I mean, I feel like you've got everything you need here to even, you could build an adventure around an 𝙁𝙗𝙗, like you're dealing with the CR3, and then later you got to deal with the alpha, and then finally you got to take down the dire one that's behind all the things that are happening, and you got lair actions. So it really lends itself to stuff. And then here's something called a 𝘮𝑘𝑎𝑘𝑢s. This is the mighty 𝘮𝑘𝑎𝑘𝑢s, resembles a gigantic centaur-like Creature possessing the upper humanoid body of a fearsome fire giant and the lower body of a giant bull. Its eyes and horns glow like red-hot embers, and its massive maw is wreathed in flames. And the art is just really cool. It definitely looks as described, and that's cool. And it's a CR12, and then you've got a shaman version that's 14, as well as a chieftain, which is 18. So again, that great mix. And I mean, look at this cool demon. It looks very Egyptian with its stylings, at least Egyptian, ancient Egyptian stylings. It's called 𝙤𝙘 the Devourer. So that's really cool as well. I love that one. That's really cool. But let's come up here and look at the back at the cactus and some of its abilities. So it's got a gore, a maul, hooves, rock, and then a fire breath, which recharges on 5 and 6, and it exhales fire and brimstone in a 30-foot cone. Each creature in that area must make a con saving throw or take fire damage, basically, and be poisoned, which causes them to be incapacitated. And then you've got intimidating roar. Once a day, the cactus lets out a blood-curdling roar. Each creature within 30 feet of the cactus and able to hear it must make a wisdom saving throw or become frightened for a minute. And they become vulnerable to fire damage, but they can repeat that saving throw. So really cool. I like it. It fits with that character being part fire giant, right? Or creature, I should say, not character. Although it could be a character. I mean, fun stuff in here, as usual, from Dragonix. And I think any dungeon master is going to need this. You're going to need all these characters, creatures. I don't know why I'm saying characters today. Anyway, creatures. You're going to need all these creatures, especially when Planescape hits and people want to go everywhere to all the planes. You're going to want these templates. You're going to want these creatures. And you'll be glad you got it. So check it out. It's under Dragonix's Deadly Denizens in the links below. Give it a click. Next we have Magic and Mayhem from Critical Crafting. It's $9.99 for 54 pages. And it says, machinations of the blank mark the return of the Order of the Blank in all their techno-fascist glory, and your tables likely felt the terror of technology as their spellcasters were left feeling hopeless and rendered powerless. Magic and Mayhem brings the Arcanum back into the fold, rune-covered dragons designed as living weapons, insurrectionists capable of destroying swaths of soldiers, magic abominations, arcane digging machines, and technomancers, spellcasters who chose to retreat deep into the earth and form a safe haven, a sanctuary where they could avoid the Blank's persecution while advancing their epic levels of magic. They knew the Blank would ravage the surface in their absence, but they would one day return to end the war. This is that day. The Edenites have returned. So yeah, you can tie this into one of their past releases. All the releases from Critical Crafting are pretty cool. We've covered a number of them on the channel, and they always feature great art and really interesting concepts. But this one comes with 5 epic magic themed, ready to drop encounters for parties of all levels. 5 creature stat blocks centered around the Arcanum, 8 VTT tokens, 16 new items with printable cards, 18 sigils, 9 spells that are epic. So these are ones that exceed 9th level. 5 battle maps, 7 feats, and 4 deficiencies, a paladin subclass, and a new race. So this is a lot of stuff. $9.99 for 54 pages. So you get to see some of the lore here that is going to be covered in this volume. And then you get down into some encounters. And it says they're designed to be easily dropped into any game to create, one shot or however you want to do it. So this first one is called Destroy It. It's for characters levels 3 to 5, any environment. And it says it can be used when the characters are utilizing a vehicle, machine, clockwork item, Arcanum powered item, or another item of advanced technology that generates its own electricity or power non-magically. It says you hear a crackling sound coming from somewhere nearby. Turning toward the source of the sound, you see a strange creature seemingly composed of lightning and cloud floating before you. The creature speaks in a bizarre language, gesturing at one of your numbers items with a finger of cloud bursting with electricity. So yeah, this creature is kind of cloud lightning thing, But it says it's a voltaic elemental, has sensed the presence of non-magical electricity or power in the area, and has sought out its source. It talks about how to roleplay it, and it gives you even some sample dialogue, like, that thing in your possession is an abomination. It corrupts natural energy. So yeah, you could have this somehow translate what the elemental is saying, and here's a map for it. And then they've got another one here called Repairing a 𝘎𝙤, and this one's a little more in terms of pages. The last one I think was a page. Yeah, it looks like a page, just an encounter with the elemental, but this one's more. You're gonna have to repair something, go to the different points of interest. But yeah, it's cool. Looks like there's an electrical compartment table, which has different options. Including the compartment crackles with a small bouts of electricity, but overall seems safe. You have to roll the d4 again, and on a 1 to 3, use the other effects for this compartment. On a 4, the compartment truly is harmless. So that's cool. So the fourth option, basically, it's seemingly harmless, and then whatever you roll, if you roll a 1, 2, or 3, is actually what's going on there. That's a cool way to do it. So as usual, like I said, lots of great artwork in the critical crafting stuff. Yeah, it connects to a previous work, but I'm sure there's plenty of things you can use in here without getting that one. Although I would encourage you to look at all their work, because I really enjoy everything they're up to. It seems consistently well done. So look for this one in the links below under Magic and Mayhem and give it a click. Next we have Sentient Magic Weapons, which contains 10 new sentient weapons from Craven's Keep, and it's $1.99 for 16 pages, so not that much to get these sentient items. They have names like Crosshair, the light crossbow, Eagle Eye, the longbow, Grizzly End, the longsword, Secrets, the dagger, Skull Smasher, the warhammer, etc. And of course, they're illustrated in the fun style that Craven's Keep always uses, which I really enjoy. Yeah, I mean, I think the price point is really good for this, because, you know, for just $2 you can get some fun sentient items. I just scrolled through here for you, but I like the name of this last one, the Flourish. It's this wand rare, requires attunement by a spellcaster. Created by a flamboyant sorcerer from a highly renowned arcane college, this finely carved wand was wielded by a great archmage for over a century. This wand has 10 charges. While holding it, you can use an action to expend one or more of its charges to cast one of the following spells from it, using your spell save DC and spellcasting ability modifier. So you get Magic Missile, Knock, Counterspell, and they have various number of charges based on the spell. It says, or hold monster, and it regains charges at dawn. And if you expend the last charge, you got to roll and see if you roll a 1, and if you do, it vanishes. But it says Sentience. Flourish is a sentient weapon of chaotic good alignment, and it gives you all of its stats. It says this weapon communicates telepathically with its wielder and can speak, read, and understand Common, Elvish, Sylvan, Dwarvish, and Celestial. It also knows all the languages of the creature attuned to it. That could be really handy, translating all those languages for you in your head. And it says personality. Flourish takes great joy in the beauty and awe of magic. It enjoys guiding new and insecure spellcasters to become brilliant arcane masters, longing to join them on their great quest of self-discovery. Flourish also possesses great knowledge of magic history, which it has gathered from its many masters of the past. Flourish is more than happy to reveal some of this wisdom when the situation calls for it. So yeah, that could be fun for the DM to roleplay as well, because more than likely the DM is going to roleplay these weapons. So yeah, I mean, again, $2, you're going to get all this fun stuff, and it'd be cool to have even just one sentient weapon in your party. So check it out. It's under Sentient Magic Weapons, and the link's below. Give it a click. Next we have Thimbleton Inksquire Runic Compendium, and it says brandish long forgotten runes with this flourish of a quill, or with the flourish of a quill, or the whisper of a word. And it's from Runic Press. It's $19.99 for 173 pages. It says they've done some other cool stuff like Beyond the Golden Vault and Baba Lysaga's Nocturnes and Nightmares. So now they're doing this, which is really cool because it has all this rune-themed goodness in it. They've got rune casting, which is an arcane art that harnesses vast energies through the power of language. Runes can be etched onto parchment, engraved on weapons, or even inscribed in your flesh, offering countless possibilities for tactical and strategic gameplay. With a unique system that departs from traditional magic, rune casting promises a high-risk, high-reward dynamic that will keep players on the edge of their seats. So you get a runesmith class, which is dedicated to rune casting, including 16 subclasses. That's really cool as well, because you're getting these runic-themed subclasses for the existing 5th edition classes. And then you get 80 powerful runes, which of course is going to come in handy with the runesmith, 66 monsters and rune casting NPCs, more than 20 runic magic items, and just a lot more. And you can see a really nice layout awaits you as well. So the preview is later in the book. So when you look at it, you might not recognize that at first. So I just wanted to point that out. Nothing wrong with that. Just you. Some people are, when they click these, they're expecting the beginning of the book. I like when they show something later in the book, because a lot of times the beginning of the book is just like intro and all that stuff, and you don't get to see the meat of it. The way they're doing it here, I think, really shows you more of the book. But there's some connection to languages with these runes, and it looks like for each language there's a list of runes here that go with that language. I'm sure it explains how that works. We're not seeing the explanation here, but that's okay. And then you're getting into the rune description, so this is going to show you how those runes work mechanically. But it looks like they have tiers. So there's one here called Anvil. It's a Dwarven standard rune. It says Dwarven ingenuity is at its best when steel kisses steel and fire faces flame. So for tier 1 Anvil rune, the casting time is 1 minute, range of touch, and it lasts for an hour. You touch up to 4 non-magical objects no greater than medium in size. They become fused together into a single magical object in a manner that allows both objects to still function. This new object is impervious to damage for the duration. Any weapons fused in this way count as improvised weapons. When the rune ends or is broken, the objects lose their bond and fall to the ground in the nearest empty space. And then you go to tier 2. It's got the same casting time and range, but the duration becomes 10 minutes instead of 1 hour. It says you touch 1 weapon or 10 pieces of ammunition. They become magical if they were not already, and gain a +1 to attack and damage for the duration. You can choose to use this on armor or shields to gain +1 to AC instead. And it's gained in addition to any existing magical effects on the item. And then you got tier 3, which has duration of indefinite. You touch 1 magical object that can be held or equipped and draw out the most important parts of its essence into a single maker's mark. You then choose a single non-magical object that can be held or equipped to inscribe your new mark onto. This transfers 1 single magical property from 1 object to another. The original item is then destroyed, and the newly enchanted object becomes magical. This rune remains permanently on the magic item and cannot be removed unless the item itself is destroyed. You can attempt to inscribe your own new mark onto an object which already has magical properties. However, your backfire chance increases by 5 for every existing property already on the item. New enchantments which have similar effects do not stack. You use the most potent bonus only and lose any others. If this rune backfires, both objects are destroyed. So yeah, it's a fun way to basically enchant items or things, and you can see with the different tiers that you're going to have different effects. And then there's a drawing of the anvil down here, so that if you want to replicate that yourself as a GM, or your player is allowed to see this and allowed to replicate it, that could be cool. You could even a lot of people commission their art for their characters, right? So if one of your characters has this engraved in their skin or something, like a tattoo, then they could even put that on there. But yeah, fun stuff. And you can see a ton of these runes just scrolling through this sample. So there's another one here called Darkness, and it looks like it just has a tier 3. It says close your eyes. It's casting time 1 action, 30 feet range, and a duration of 1 minute. Choose a 30-foot cube within range and create a tumultuous darkness within the area. When a creature enters the area for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, it must make a dex saving throw. On a failed save, it takes slashing damage. If it has dark vision, it takes additional psychic damage. Sounds like it's messing with that dark vision, which is nice. On a successful save, the creature takes half as much damage, and for the next 24 hours after using this rune, you bear the horrific claw marks that cover your body and give you disadvantage on persuasion checks. So there's a little bit of a drawback there for using this one, which is interesting. I like that, and I like that it has an effect against dark vision, because there's a lot of dark vision out there. And it seems like it fits with the theme, darkness, and again, you have the little rune drawn here. But, I mean, there's so many here for you to look at. We can only touch on a couple, so I do hope you come check it out. I mean, this is 173 pages, after all, on runes, so if you're into those at all, whether you just want to bring in a subclass, an item, a monster, or even the runes themselves, it's here for you, waiting under Thimbleton Inksquire Runic Compendium in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Unearthed Spoils issue 4 from Grimm Press, and this is $9.99 for 34 pages, and it's a zine that they come out with on a regular basis that has different things in it. So this includes some subclasses, the backgrounds, spells, items, creatures, and an 11th level adventure, which is really cool. And you can see some of the fun artwork and maps that are also involved in this title. And yeah, here's the table of contents. It says, for the 11th level adventure, the House of Salt has a storied history, but now it's a portal to the shadow world. Someone needs to enter and find the artifact that can reseal the door. Yeah, that sounds like definitely like something that needs to happen, and you need a party to do it. So you've got the Shadow Knight for Ranger. You've got the Umbral Newman for Warlock. And then you got the coach person background. That could be really cool. I could see a lot of this in Ravenloft, but elsewhere as well. And again, as we've said throughout this video, Planescape is coming. So, you know, Shadowfell is a plane, and you may need to go there. Not to mention Curse of Strahd and all the other fun Shadowfell, Ravenloft stuff out there. So you got spells, you've got magic items, potions. So let's read one of the spells here. So we've got Shadow Bright. It's a 2nd level transmutation. It's a casting time of 1 action, 60 feet range, concentration up to 10 minutes for druid, sorcerer, and wizard. Choose one creature within range and turn its shadow into light. The darker the shadow, the brighter the light, including those shadows cast on surfaces around the target. Although this light sheds no additional light around the target, it makes it highly visible in all but the brightest environments. While a target is affected in this way, other creatures have advantage on ranged attacks against it. So that's cool. I like how it's manipulating a shadow. Yeah, fun stuff. And then you got all these cool look at these masks and books here. They look really cool. But then you get to the potions. And this first one looks really interesting. It's called Potion of Blue Moss. It's a consumable, and it's rare. This says the shining blue potion contains blue moss, morning dew, and olasuba leaf, and can illuminate your way in the dark. When the potion remains in its vial, it sheds dim light in a 5-foot radius. When consumed, it provides vitality potion when you need it most, but unfortunately its potency is wildly erratic, and too much can be poisonous. When you drink this potion, each dose of this provides 1d20 temporary hit points. A creature consuming a second potion within a 24-hour period causes the creature to glow faintly blue for 2d4 hours. While the creature is glowing in this manner, ranged attacks against that creature while it is in dim light or non-magical darkness are made with advantage. A creature consuming a third potion within 24-hour period will also become poisoned and vulnerable to poison damage until it completes the long rest. So that's cool. I like the effects and just sort of the theme of this blue moss. It fits with the shadowy sort of theme of this issue. But I mean, look at these fun bottles. I like the skull one. Lots of stuff. It's great to have a title like this where you can just get a mixture of things that you can drop here and there, plug and play, and go. So look for it under Unearthed Spoils issue 4 in the links below. Give it a click. Next we have Wasteland Woes from Spilled Ale Studios, $26 for 333 pages. And you know, they've done Spilled Ale has done a number of these sort of post-apocalyptic releases for 5th editions, which is really cool. And this one is aimed at the GM basically, to focus on. And it says inside you'll find 7 types of wasteland world you might use for your campaigns. So it's desert, flooded, frozen, overgrown, radioactive, etc. And it's got problems. This is packed with problems. Wasteland Rose offers a number a large number of non-combat challenges that include a selection of environmental hazards Wastelanders can encounter in each of the 7 types of Wasteland world, as well as rules for post-apocalyptic traps and Wasteland afflictions. And then there's a bestiary of 279 alien, beast, horror, humanoid, machine, mutant, and plant creature stat blocks. I mean, that's a lot. That's awesome. And it shows you how to convert other compatible, other 5th edition beasts into this sort of world, which is cool. But yeah, there's so much out there to play in the fantasy setting, but there just isn't, I think, enough, especially with 5th edition, to play in post-apocalyptic. So I really like Spilled Ale's titles because they give you the opportunity to stay in that version and game that you like of 5th edition, but take it in a new direction. So in this preview, you're going to see 41 pages, and I'm just going to do like a quick scroll so you can see all this really cool layout, fun typography, and different things they're doing to show, the sort of modern sensibility alongside post-apocalyptic, which is really, really cool. But I mean, so many different ones. I mean, we're just into the C's here. We started in the A's and we're in the C's. So you're going to see tons of stuff. But let's look at this Cannoneer here at the end. It says, the 𝘬𝙀 Cannoneer was the successor to the 𝘬𝙀 Trooper, designed to either replace traditional infantry units or support them with its heavy arms fire. A Cannoneer's armor plating makes it durable against small arms fire, and even a single Cannoneer can be a threat to enemy infantry. A phalanx or larger unit of Cannoneers has firepower equivalent to a fighting vehicle, yet is able to explore infantry tactics and operate in environments where vehicles can't go. And there's a sniper variant, and then you get the stat block with all the different things that you need. It's got a clumsy grasp. It says the Cannoneer can perform most tasks that require hands, but is unable to wield firearms not designed for its use, nor use delicate instruments. And then it's got, a bash and a cannon that it uses. And here is your 𝘬𝙀 Trooper to go with that. You got a Courser, Cleaving Cactus. That sounds fun. And then this one it looks like a Burrower. And then you've got a Blood Wasp, including a Swarm version, which is awesome. We love swarms at Splinterverse. And then we've got Bloodhound. Some swarms up here, piranha swarms, centipede swarms. I would imagine there'd be a lot of swarms in a post-apocalyptic world too, because got to stick together to get through it all. And a lot of creatures would be uninhibited because humans would be less in the way, or other humanoids should say. Up here at the top we've got the 𝘬𝙘, settlers from another world. The 𝘬𝙘 are colloquially named mermutants by wastelanders of flooded worlds, and their strange burbling language is called murmur. That's cool. I like those names. Extraterrestrial colonists. 𝘬𝙘 settle in the deeps of water worlds. They sometimes create colonies, even on already settled planets, trusting in their natural habitat to insulate them from land-based natives. They only come into conflict with land dwellers during rare and sometimes unplanned visits to the water's surface or coasts. So very cool. They've got a tentacle throttle action, a piercing hold, where they can grapple stuff. So it looks really fun. Yeah, I mean, think about it also in terms of Spelljammer, right? So maybe you're on the world of Greyhawk or the world of Dragonlance or any of these worlds, right? And these well-known settings, and your characters take a Spelljammer and they end up on a water world, right? Or some other wasteland world where you can use these creatures in a more fantasy setting, because we looked at the stat blocks, they have everything you'd expect for a 5e. So totally compatible and lots of fun. So look for it under Wasteland Woes in the links below and give it a click. All right, next we have Wild Minds from Carl Terrence Vandal. It's $3 for 14 pages, and it says it's a unique barbarian path for use in the Forgotten Realms. Throughout the north, there are legends and tales of mighty warriors from the remote tribes that roam the lands. Amongst these stories, the most intriguing are about the warriors that combine their strength of body with that of their mind. Wild Minds allows you to pursue this path, bringing to bear the power of the mind and will alongside the strength and rage that mark you as a barbarian. And it includes 15 psionic feats. So very cool way to fold in the psionic feats and psionic things into something else. I like that. And with a name like Wild Minds, it seems to fit because it's the path of the wilder, right? And we think of wild magic, as something that could be connected to psionics. It's so wild. So you got Wild Minds provides details regarding a new barbarian path. So let's find out about that. There's this whole background section. You get a ton of lore from Carl Terence Vandal's books, which I really appreciate. It seems to be a big fan of Forgotten Realms. So if you like Forgotten Realms especially, you're going to get your money's worth for sure. But I think this can be used outside the Forgotten Realms as well. So it says they possess strength of mind as well as of body. The passion and zeal with which a wilder pursues the use of their psionic ability can be frightening for others around them. Wilders see dangerous quests as opportunities to hone their emotion-triggered psionic abilities. Eager to show you what they can do, wilders use their psionic abilities against whatever obstacles confront them. So at 3rd level, they get psionic abilities. And they have, it says, while raging, when you or another creature you can see within 30 feet of you takes damage, you can use your reaction to expend 1 psionic energy die and gain resistance to the damage type of the attack. And that resistance lasts until your next turn and combines with the rage resistance, granting immunity to bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage. And then you also get a psionic sheath, where you can surround your weapon in a sheath of psionic energy. And you can expend psionic energy die and deal psychic damage to, it looks like a creature you've already hit with a melee attack. And then it improves at 6th level as well. And then you got Volatile Mind at 6th level and Psionic Surge at 10th. So let's just take a look at the capstone, though, because I want you to come here and read all of it, because you can read the whole book in the preview, which is very kind of Carl. Psionic Bulwark. It says at 14th level, your well of psionic energy provides you with the ability to sustain and heal yourself and enables you to continue fighting even after receiving near fatal damage. At the start of each of your turns, you can expend 1 psionic energy die and regain hit points equal to the die roll plus your con mod if you have no more than half your hit points left. At 17th level, you can expend 2 psionic energy die. And it says, additionally, while you're raging, having 0 hit points doesn't knock you unconscious. You still make death saving throws, and you suffer the normal effects of taking damage while at 0. However, if you would die due to failing death saving throws, you don't die until your rage ends, and you die then only if you still have 0 hit points. So that's cool. And then you get into the psionic feats, and you've got things like Psi Warrior, Soul Knife, Aberrant Mind, etc. So I love this. I mean, psionic feats are just going to be fun and cool for people. So I'm not going to read all of them for you. I want you to take some time to look at them yourself, but I will pick one to share with you. And let's look at Prescient Adept. It's for 8th level, Aberrant Mind, Psi Warrior, Soul Knife, or Path of the Wilder. So it gives you some options there, which is nice because sometimes these only have like one, right? So I like that there's multiple options. Your ability to see into the future using your mind grows in strength, granting you the following benefits. You increase your int, whiz, or charisma score by 1 to a maximum of 20. You can cast the Fortune Favors spell, requiring no spell slot or components, and you must finish a short rest before you can cast it this way again. And you can cast the Divination spell the same way. And it talks about if you have spell slots, you can also use the spell slots for it too, which I think is handy when you have multiple ways to use spells given to you this way. Yeah, that's cool. It's nice to get spells, and maybe you don't have any, so all you have is your psionic abilities, and then this gives you some spells to go with what else you've got going on. I like it. And you can own it if you go to the links in the video description and click on Wild Minds. Check it out. All right, now we come to that part of the program where we give some shout outs to other releases that came out recently that we don't have time to take a deep dive into. So let's take a look. First up, we have Book of Blades Expanding the Rogue, and it is $4.99 for 16 pages, and it's got a lot of rogue options, including a new subclass and weapons. Then we've got Dante's Guide to Hell, which is $12.95 for looks like 109 pages. Yep. And it's got a setting, of course, with the 9 hells, artifacts, and a bunch of reference material to help you bring hell to life. Then we've got The Haunt of Ürminsk, which is an adventure for levels 3 to 5. It's $6.95 for 52 pages. Then we've got Lair of the Beast. It's a suggested price of $1.42 for 9 pages. It's got monsters as well as their lairs. Then we've got the Level Up Gate Pass Gazette Annual for 2022. It's $19.99 for the PDF, or you can get the hardcover for $39.99, or both of those for the same price. And it's 220 some pages, and it covers a ton of material for Advanced 5th Edition, or Level Up as it's also known, which is backwards compatible with 5th Edition. So a book like this is going to give you a ton of different material, but you can see they got 33 archetypes, backgrounds, cultures, destinies, items, everything. So you want to check that out. Then we've got Magic Item Menagerie Volume 6. It is $5 for 20 pages, and it focuses, of course, on magic items. Then we've got Marshland Mists, which is 100+ scenarios for swampy adventures. So if you're looking to voyage through some sort of marshland or swamp, this is going to be an option. It's $4.22 for 51 pages. Then we've got Mechanical Monsters for Pathfinder 1. It's $19.99 for the PDF, or $34.99 for the softcover, and it's over 170 pages. Then we've got Mythical Menagerie Volume 2, The Beast Binder. It's $4.25 for 77 pages of monsters. And we've got Untold Subclasses, The Trade Domain. It's only $1.95 for 7 pages, and it's got a Cleric subclass, spells, and an NPC for you. Then finally we have The Wilderness Dressing Steps, $3.75 for 10 pages, and this is a bunch of tables that are going to help you depict a steppe region in terms of terrain. So that's it for the new releases this week. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave us a comment, and share the video out there if you can. Also, click those links in the video description to help promote these books, support these books, whether it's leaving a review or purchasing something for your friend, because you can gift books from these sites to others. And every purchase you make, whether we talked about it today or not, helps the channel with a small affiliate fee. So we love when you do your shopping with us. And if you want to bookmark one of those links and then use that when you go shopping, that always helps us. And if you want to help us even further, we've got 7 books we've released. Those are all linked in the video description, or you can go to splinterverse.com, and we're releasing a 2-book Kickstarter, I should say launching a 2-book Kickstarter later this year. So you're going to want to make sure you're following us everywhere at Splinterverse so you can get the latest information on that. And I sure hope you do, because that one is going to be so exciting. The art looks amazing, and I can't wait to start revealing that to you. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, happy adventuring.